let's look at some data. And again, as Jim mentioned, this PowerPoint will be available to the Orange County Realtors in one way or the other, the website or email, so you will be available, so you don't have to take that down every single note. And any slide that you may want to share with your clients, you are welcome to use it. This is the nationwide existing home sales, which measures actual closings. And one can see that the boom, bust, and right before the tax credit, one see a little surge because of the homebuyer tax credit, but right before the tax credit, it was still falling. And at that time, the economy was losing 8 million jobs. So imagine the housing market situation without that homebuyer tax credit coming into the market. Could it have slided even further down and great overcrash in the housing market? But because of the homebuyer tax credit, even with 10% unemployment, 90% of the workforce still has jobs. It's people with job, maybe some had anxiety, but still there's a large chunk of the workforce with job, and they responded to the homebuyer tax credit and helping come into the market, absorb inventory, and help stabilize the housing. Tax credit was subsequently extended. It was initially expected to end, I believe, November 2009, but it was extended additional 6 months. So that little second bump up is the second surge. But the second surge is less strong than the first surge because the pipeline of people who want to enter the market has thinned out. So therefore, the second surge was less strong. And after the second extension, the economy was steadily improving, and NAR did not push, did not lobby for any additional extension. And once that tax credit disappeared, down at least 1 month in the immediate month following. But that should be expected. Consumers are smart. Do you buy a home, try to close the deal in June when there isn't $8,000? Or do you wait until July, 1 month later, where you don't get $8,000? And actually, people jumped in on June, so July would have been very weak, and that's what the weak point is. But since that time, it has slowly climbed out on its own power without any federal stimulus, and this is a good sign to say that even without the homebuyer tax credit, the buyers are steadily coming back. The latest data in February did decline, but most of the decline was in the Midwest and in the New England region where there was heavy snow, so we think that is weather related, so we may anticipate some little bounce back. So on housing market on its own natural power, it is beginning to slowly come back. Annual, so prior was the monthly data, so you have some fluctuation due to the homebuyer tax credit surge, then the non-surge. So on an annual basis, we will not reach the bubble years, but we didn't really see on an annual big changes in home sales from the tax credit on the annual basis, because it was the first half of last year, but the second half was much weaker. But the red line is my projected forecast. So we will see some improvement in home sales. I think there is a pent-up demand, improving economy, improving affordability or very high affordability. There are some obstacles, but I think that overall there will be increase in sales, but it's not a great increase in sales. So it's a moderate increase in sales activity. California, one sees a little more, this is more longer time horizon from the 1980s, and there's always housing market cycle. During the bubble years, interestingly, prices really shot up, but home sales did not go over the top. So home sales were just matching over their prior peak levels. And I think what happened was that even though prices really shot up, it really began to price out many people from the marketplace as prices really shot out. And then look at the harsh crash landing. Then it subsequently bounced back, and now it's trying to gather footing on its own power. Based on what I am seeing in the California data and Orange County data, it looks like that first 3 months of this year is almost matching up with the first 3 months of last year. And last year there was tax credit. To say that right now sales activity is matching up with last year's level, even without the tax credit, this is a very good indicator that at least the second half will easily beat last year's second half. And hence the overall sales this year will be comfortably above last year's. Orange County, this data is from Stephen Thomas, who provided all the data to, I think, Orange County Register as well. And I look at his data very carefully, and the pending contracts right now is slightly below last year, but it's the second highest in the past 5 years. So again, very good indicator. And also the inventory level is very low now. I should not say very low, but it's manageable. It's the second lowest in the past 5 years, so it's not a bloated inventory condition. Month supply, 3.2 months. Nationwide, month supply is at 9 months. So Orange County, relatively speaking, tight inventory situation. Short sales and foreclosure inventory still make up 1/3 of all listings, 1/3. But from buyers' point of view, that's where they're going. They're saying, where's the foreclosure? I want to buy foreclosed property because that's where they are anticipating the deep discounts. So from the buyer's point of view, they are moving towards the distressed properties, which means that for normal home sellers, they are competing with some of the distressed property out in the marketplace. So if they want to see their property moving, then they have to price appropriately. Now, of course, you will not match the foreclosed property because the normal homes will be in much better condition in a better neighborhood, but they need to be mindful that there is a competition from the distressed property in the marketplace.